Okay, so welcome back to my garage. This is Gamer Dom. Second video of the morning. Blimey, you have to go and have a lie down. Well, it is April the 1st, so I guess that's a special day. A special day. So apparently, as well as being April Fool's Day today, it is also the 5th anniversary of Wargaming EU starting up. And you know, Wargaming is a very generous business, as we know. And to celebrate the fact that they're having a birthday, we get to spend a lot of money with them. I suppose it's kind of like a present, you know, which is nice. So apparently there's going to be all kinds of specials coming up in the next few days and weeks. And part of the first one of that is the, well, they always call it the rare KV220-2. But it's only rare in the sense that you can't pick it up every day in the shop, but they do sell it. They do bring it out every so often and sell it, inverted commas, as a rare tank. But I guess, you know, in terms of the fact it isn't freely available all the time in the gift shop or on the tech tree, it's rare in that sense. But you know, I've had mine for quite a long time, and I see, you know, intermittently quite a few on the battlefield. So the KV220, so you can get this for 6 days. You buy it, the tank, a garage slot, and 6,500 gold. Why do you do that, Wargaming? Just give us the bloody tank. Anyway, for £23.70, which is €29.99. I don't think you can buy it just as the tank. Let me just have a quick look. No. So you have to buy the bundle. So that's a black mark to Wargaming in my book. You offer the package, and if it's good enough people will buy it, but offer the tank on its own, just with a garage slot. That's all you need to do. Anyway, what is it? It's a tier 5 premium Russian heavy tank, and it's a bit of a brute, to be honest. If you take a look at this thing, it's very long, very big. But, you know, it's got that unmistakable look of a KV. Let's have a look. If you compare it to the KV4, you can see the similarities. KV1. There you go. So, what about it? It's obviously I think it's a fictitious tank. I don't think it ever existed at all. It may have been a blueprint. Yeah, there was a prototype built in 1940, basically to up armour a KV1. It has the hull of a KV3 with the turret of a KV1. So the KV3 is pretty well armoured, and that is a tier 7 tank, isn't it, I believe? Let me just double check that, because somebody will moan that I've got it wrong. KV3, yeah, there we go, KV3. So I haven't got one anymore. I got rid of mine, but basically it's got the hull of the KV3, a tier 7 tank, and the turret of KV1, which is a tier 5 tank. So it's kind of a bit of a Frankenstein, but it's a pretty good tank. One of the nice things about this tank, it does get preferential matchmaking. So it's a tier 5, you will only see tier 5s and 6s. Nothing more than a tier 6 will face you. And when you are top tier in this thing, you can boss it. It is a fearsome beast when you are fighting with a tier 3 or a tier 4 or even some tier 5s against this thing. And that's primarily because of its fantastic armour. Let's just take a quick look at it. So 690 hit points is okay. For a tier 5, actually that's not bad at all. So it will take some punishment, but it needs to, because it's slow and it's heavy. 63 tons roughly with this configuration I've got. Has a big engine, actually, 850 horsepower engine, but it only does a top speed of 33. And it's very slow to accelerate. Also, its traverse speed is very poor, only 20 degrees per second. So, you know, it will get circled, basically. But in some ways that doesn't really matter, because the armour on this thing, being a KV3's hull, the hull armour is phenomenal. 120 at the front. 120. Most of the tier 5 tanks it's going up against, I can only dream of 120 pen. So yeah, that's not so good. It has 100 side armour too, and big old tracks to each shots, and it's even 100 at the rear. So if some light tanks start circling you, they're going to have a hell of a job penning you. The slightly weaker area is its turret, because it's got a KV1's turret. It does have a frontal armour that's stronger than a KV1 on the turret, so that's 90 degrees. That's 90 millimeters. HD model looks good, doesn't it? Anyway, so 90 millimeters, and you will bounce shots off the front of that. That gun mantlet is pretty strong and very, very bulky. Side of the turret and rear of the turret are much flatter, much easier targets to penetrate, but it's still 75, which, you know, isn't so bad. View range is, well, it's Russian tank, so Russian heavy, so it's awful. 310 base view range, so you virtually have to walk into something to see it. You're going to be relying on your friends to spot stuff in this. They basically, tanks can walk up to you and you won't even see them until they put a shell into you. It also has very poor radio range, only 360. Which means on the larger maps, if you're out on a flank, you will have no way of knowing what's going on the other side of the match. So yeah, that's to be worried about. There are also some weak spots on the turret, which you have to be mindful of. These cheeks here are pretty flat, and enemy firing at the cheeks have a fair chance of penning you. So that's the only other thing to worry about. So what about the gun? Because that must be great, mustn't it? Yeah. So the gun is the weak part of this tank, and bear in mind this premium was from the generation of premiums where Wargamers' philosophy was that they had to be worse in some departments than a standard tank, and the way they tended to nerf tanks was they give them something good and then they give them something bad, and the bad thing on this tank is the gun, frankly. It's a 76mm, which on the face of it is pretty good. Has a very good rate of fire. 14 rounds per minute is, for a heavy tank, that's pretty darn good. But its average penetration is only 100 with a standard AP round. Sorry, not even 100. I can't even read it straight. 99 on a standard AP round, which is pretty darn weak. It has 121 with its APCR round, and you might as well forget about HE. 36 with HE. Average penetration is 110, 110, 156. So you know, you're not going to scare your opponents, but you know, if you're fighting 3s and 4s, this gun can bully. As a fighting tier 5s and 6s, it's a bit underwhelming, this gun. So be conscious of that. The dispersion is not great either, 0.46, but then you're not really going to be firing at range because you can't see anything. And also aim time is fairly slow. 2.3 is not great. So yeah, it's the gun is a major letdown on this tank. But that said, before the Japanese super heavy tanks hit the game, it was also quite good at using its bulk as a ramming machine. So you know, you've got a big bulky tank that's good at ramming, very good armor, pretty weak gun, and that is the KV220-2. As I say, it's also preferential, so that's good. But ultimately, the proof of any premium is its credit making potential, because it gets a bonus in that, and also because you can use it to train up your crews. So in here I have my T150 crew. And you know, again, forgive me for those who know this, with a premium, if you put a crew in, you can put in any same nationality, same class of tank crew. So I could put any Russian heavy crew in this tank and they would work at full ability, so no downgrading at all. I wouldn't have to retrain them or anything. They can work there. So basically you can go on your premium, do your ×2 or ×3 or whatever the offer is of the day in your premium, and then put them back in your standard tank and do it again there, which means they get double dits on cruise training, which is crew training. Can't put my teeth in this morning. So there you go. Equipment, well, I haven't played this for a long time, and I actually wonder whether this equipment is the best loadout. Gun rammer to me is always a must on any heavy tank because it's about DPM. It's about getting the shells spitting out there, but it is quite a fast firing gun anyway, so you could remove that. Maybe gun laying drive might be a good option. I put toolbox because being very slow to turn and having big arse tracks, you do get tracked a lot in this, and even though this crew has a bit of repair skills, you've got to get tracks back up because Arty will aim for you. This is an Arty magnet tank. It's slow moving, it's big, and it's a real threat, so Arty will aim for you. So getting your tracks up is really important. So I put a toolbox on mine and improve vents because that improves everything. So, you know, there is a case for enhanced gun lane drive for sure. I wouldn't bother with any of the coated optics or binoculars because your view range is terrible. You're just adding a little bit to it. So massive amount of ammo. You will never run out. I mean, look at that, 100 AP shells I've got there. 13 APCR, and I've even put 7 HE, but I mean really just for a cap reset, or maybe if you got something really knackered, an HE shell to finish them off maybe, but yeah, you don't need it, but then you've got lots of shell capacity. So anyway, that's the KV220-2. Let's take it out and have a look. This slow morning as everyone's loading in. So one thing to tell people, if they logged in this morning and found all their mods weren't working, you can get them back really quickly. I didn't realize at first, but you can just basically, if you go into your mods folder in your the game drive, you will find your 9.14 folder, which has all the mods loaded in it, and you can copy them across into the 9.14.1 folder, reload the client, and your mods all work again. So there's a little tip somebody pointed out to me when I posted a video about the Lunar game. So here we go. We're on, what are we? Ensk. I can never remember the name of this one. I don't really like Ensk, but it is a heavy tank. Very much a heavy tank battlefield, so I'm going to head down towards the heavy stuff. You can see, you know, it's not dead slow, but it's not a quick tank to move. I'm going to come through the center here, try and use my bulk on my armor just to try and bully opposition. We're in a tier 5 game, so this is as good a matchmaking as I'm going to get in this thing. The Churchill's a bit of a threat because he's quite tough to penetrate. Oh, where did that KV? That was an experimental. The O1 experimental could also be a bit of a challenge. I actually spotted something in a KV. That wasn't very sensible. Get out my way. I'm going to side scrape here. Get out my way. Okay, let's do a bit of side scraping and see what we can do. So we can side scrape, we can do some damage. Kill. So they've got no chance of penning me here. We can't resist it, this guy. Okay, we'll keep doing it, and you see the rate of fire on this gun is very, very good. I want to get through, I want to get to the one behind. There we go, one more shot and he's dead. Come on, stay there. Thank you. This guy's being a bit cuter. He's actually side scraping. I'm going to move along. Move along, please, because he is side scraping. Oh, I missed him. How did I miss him? Got him this time. So you can see bullying. Oh, I changed into premium there. That was a bit unnecessary. Let's come around behind this guy. Doesn't even know I'm here. I managed to... How did I bounce off his arse? So we've done 800 damage. We've bounced... Well, we've got 3 kills. Wow. Let's see if anybody wants to platoon to get our mission done. Oop, run into a building. Sorry, Mr. Lux, I wasn't paying attention. Lux, will you stop running into me? So, a bit jolty on the replay, apologies for that, but there's just a Lux left. We've done our thing to get Brothers in Arms mission sorted, so that's good. 3 kills, 800 damage. We're not going to get a 4th kill because that KV will kill that Lux, I'm sure. There we go. There you go, GG. And that's a perfect scenario for that KV220. If you can get in a battle where you are top tier and nobody's got anything else around you that can pen you. I mean, I was a bit daft in that I came around that corner side and I got proper Brothers in Arms as well. Okay, so what do we get here? We got a 3rd class mastery, demolition expert because I think the BT7 blew up, had an ammo rack, duelist, fire for effect, bruiser, and Brothers in Arms. What do we do? 813 damage, not as much as my mate there. 3 kills, 800 damage, 800 base XP, what am I talking about? 12 shots fired, all 12 hit. So the accuracy, because we were up close, I mean it's a brawler, so you brawl with it, that's what you do. Only 8 of them penetrated, so some of those shots were against angled tanks, and the penetration on this gun is just not good enough. We took 10 shots, but only 2 of them penetrated. And again, you know, we were side scraping. And if you can get this tank side scraping, good luck anybody penetrating. Maybe HE would do something to you, but otherwise then they're not going to get you. The only penetrating shots I took was when I came around that building side on, which was my stupid idiot thing. Blocked 600 damage. We actually spotted 4 vehicles with a view range like this, and you can see even for a tier 5 we did well on credits. 35,000 credits. Wasn't a monster game by any means. After profits, 28,000. We did fire a couple of APCRs. I don't know really why I did. I accidentally hit the button. Yeah. Then for XP, 1,200 XP, you get a premium bonus of nearly 500, which gave me nearly 3,000 XP for my crew. So yeah, there you go. That's the KV220-2. It's a bully in its own tier, and when it's fighting lower tier tanks, that frontal armor and even the side armor means that you can side scrape in this thing like a boss, and it's fun. Is it worth that kind of money? You know, I'm always slightly nervous of recommending any kind of premiums because really they depend on what your play style is, what you like doing. I personally think if they sold it without all the gold, so what it would be, I don't know, about £15, then I think it's probably worth it. At £23.70, I don't know. If you haven't got any other Russian heavy premiums, then maybe. But it is a novelty factor, and it will surprise people because you know, while I joke about it not being that rare, you don't see it that often on the battlefield, and a lot of players don't really know where to shoot it, and you will bounce a lot of shots. You can be a right pain in the arse in this tank if you get into a city map or somewhere with corridors in it. The big open maps tend to be a bit of a problem for it because it hasn't got the view range, and the penetration drops off at range, so and you can get circled and all sorts. So narrower, smaller maps tend to be better for this. this tank, and in that sort of scenario it can absolutely boss it. So anyway, it's been GamerDom. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider giving it a like and maybe subscribe for more channel content. And I'll see you again soon. Enjoy your games. Remember, it is a game. And be careful out there. It is April 1st. Dun dun dun. See you again soon.